About I do have to know how to pick my battles and know when do I react, when do I go on offense. You can't win a ball game always being on defense, so having to be on offense and correct a lot of the misperception and misreporting out there. You grow thick skin, and when you're focused, when you're committed to the mission, it is all worth it. But let me add this, though. When we talk about Willow, when we talk about Piper, and watching some of their innocence and some of their naive belief that there is justice in society today, for them to see what shots are taken at their family and for them to have no defense. Look what happened to Willow the other day. Somebody had been blogging very, very negative things about the family, and Willow finally, she'd had it up to here, and she finally responded. Unfortunately, she used a bad word when she responded, and that became national news, Greta. Her response, not the hatred, not the threats coming her way, but her response. So Willow saying, well, why can't I defend my family, Mom? That's unjust. Why is that taken away from me? And I had to remind her, we need to know how to pick our battles. My kids are teaching me more than maybe I'm able to teach them in what battles to pick, by the way. And let me give you a quick example of that, Greta. A quick example of that is Bristol, having gone through Dancing with the Stars. Bristol said, Mom, I'm going to be criticized anyway. I might as well dance. I'm like, right on. That's something that Mama and Daddy and everybody else can live with, too. We're going to get criticized, so might as well anyway do what we believe is the right thing to do for this country.
You know, in that reference you make about Willow and her acting back at the postings, I actually sort of had a little different thought about it. I thought that, you know, that we adults had so let ourselves degrade that we made it safe or okay for young people to act irresponsible and say, you know, for this person to post nasty things about your family. I mean, it's like there are no consequences. And I mean, if your child reacted back, I mean, they are basically reflecting upon what they are seeing us adults do in many ways. And it's not, you know, that's not a pretty picture.
You're right, but take that one step further, and my fault being for Willow to think that it was okay to use such a derogatory term in response, in defense of her family, but that wasn't cool, that wasn't right. She learned a lesson, I learned a lesson through that, and it makes me have to, you know, kind of guard my conversation a little bit more around my kids so that they won't think that it's okay to come back swinging like that. On the other hand, you know, little Willow, I wouldn't want to be messing with her as somebody's calling her little brother bad names and you know, kind of doing all that they can to discredit the family. You know, I kind of don't blame her for wanting to come out swinging, but just not to use a bad word when she does it.
Yeah, but I don't think, you know, I talk to politicians on both sides of the aisle, people in the public eye, and their children, you know, it's horrible when their parents are beaten up or their families are beaten up. And it's fair to hit you on policy. It's fair to say that you're wrong, or it's fair to, you know, whatever it is. But I think that things extend, you know, way too far in the political discourse, whether it's to you or to a Democrat or other. And it's very painful for these children. And I sometimes wonder if anyone in the media sort of steps back and looks at, A, what example are we giving, and two, is this really something we want to do to the children? And I'm just scandalized sometimes of what we do to the children, of whether it's you or a Democrat or whatever.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right, Greta. And I think that has to be part of a public debate at this point, because things are getting worse. The things that I know that the things that are lied about when it comes to my kids that are out there on the cover of National Enquirer and everything else, you know, I think, why can't we sue? Why can't we stop these people from lying? And we're told over and over again.
Why aren't some people just embarrassed for what they're doing to the children? That's what I don't get. I mean, like, why aren't some embarrassed? That's, you know.
Right. This is what I was trying to tell Willow last week. Honey, it's not just. There is an injustice in our society, and because man has fallen, and there is that acceptance of the spewing of hatred and the attacking of the kids, it's a very sad thing, and that is the injustice that I was trying to teach Willow. But now it becomes a matter of, okay, so how do we react to those circumstances that are unjust? And for Willow, what she has to learn is picking her battles, knowing how it is that she can react. But beyond that, okay, adults now, it's our turn to debate this and to figure out what is acceptable and what is not. And why are some politicians' kids targets and others, heaven forbid, you don't touch their kids, their background? Why is, well, it's obvious. If you're a conservative, you're going to get clobbered. If you're a female conservative with children, you're going to get clobbered.
Well, you know what? I mean, I've seen some on the fair side. I mean, I saw Chelsea Clinton. You know, she got knocked around pretty badly when her parents first came to town, so she got some of it too. But the thing that's most distressing is that people will laugh and go along with it when it's a political opponent what's done, but they're scandalized if it happens to someone with whom they agree. Instead of having, you know, instead of taking the right sort of moral position, saying it shouldn't happen to any of these children and we shouldn't be doing any of this. It's you know, which side are you on? You know, shirts or skins, basically.
Right, you're right. And Greta, here's the deal too. When it comes to like me, I've already let people know, maybe unfortunately, what's my Achilles heel? It's you touch my kids and this mama grizzly is going to rise up and I am going to react sometimes in a caustic way, and that's going to get the left all wee-weed up, and I'm going to give them what they wanted. Now, unfortunately, that's the position that I have put myself in the last couple of years. So I need to, as my thin gets my skin gets a little bit thicker, I need to not react as much as human nature within a mama wants to react. But I do want, as you're suggesting, I want the discussion to be about, is it acceptable or is it not to come after the children? I do not believe that it's acceptable, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. I think it's pathetic. I think it's immature and unprofessional.
But it's not just going after the children. It's when you are really nasty, gratuitously nasty to the children's parents. That's also painful for the children. And I'm going to emphasize, policy is different, substance is different. But when you are gratuitously nasty to a parent, you are being very painful to their children. And I don't think people stop and really consider that. But anyway,
well,
I'm taking the last word on this. I'm taking the last word on this.
You're right.
Here's a new book. It's called Sarah Palin, America by Heart, Reflections on Family, Faith, and Flag. Governor Palin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Greta. Talk to you soon.